So a really fun low back pain case I've had didn't show up as low back pain. Um, I treated a woman, and she was a nurse, so she had access to a lot of medical care, imaging, and they couldn't figure out what was going on with her. So she came in and she just said, "Hey, dude, my big toe's numb." Um, Not a typical thing we hear, especially absent any other pain. She had no shooting pain, no tingling, no back pain, no nothing. I couldn't find anything wrong with her except her big toe was numb. So she'd been to medical doctors, they took x-rays, MRIs, nothing. Um, she'd seen PT, did some exercises, nothing seemed to help. Massage therapy. I mean, name a provider, she'd done it, she tried everything. She'd gotten shots in her leg, in her back, nothing helped. So again, we always say rule out the spine. If we can't figure out what's going on, rule out the spine. So after doing some range of motion exercises, doing some different motions to try and figure out if she was deficient anywhere, she wasn't. She had a ton of range of motion. But I asked her, I'm like, are you normally, she could touch her toes, but she was super flexible. So I said, are you normally able to like palm the ground? And she said, absolutely. So even though she had a ton of range of motion, she was limited for her normal. And everyone who'd evaluated her just said, yeah, that's plenty, you're fine. But she was limited in what she was able to do, just being hyper flexible. So once we addressed that issue, we started seeing, well, if we treat this like a back pain case and do repetitive motions with the back, her pain started moving. I had her do the press ups that we give a lot of our patients. Again, we're loading the tissue in the back to help flush out inflammation and remodel the disc tissue and or the joint. So after doing probably 40, 50 of those, she said, all right, what'd you do? Now my calf is numb. So this is a perfect example for me to educate and say, explain centralization. So when we talk about centralization in the office, I'm talking about taking pain from outside the spine, like down a leg or down an arm, and if we can bring it up and in, back to the spine, every research article out there says that is improvement. We're gonna have a good prognosis and people are gonna get better fast. So again, her pain went from her toe to her calf. It went from her calf up to her hamstring, and finally when we ended the session, the pain was in her glute, it was in her butt. So the more she did those press ups and the more we kind of worked her through some motions and exercises, the pain was moving closer to her spine. So I explained to her what centralization was. I said, the closer to your spine we can get this, the better you're gonna get and the faster you're gonna get. And again, this was a fun one because 3 visits in, she was like, yeah, I had back pain last night and now I have nothing. My toe's not numb, my leg's not numb, she's not having any burning, tingling, nothing. So this was a very rewarding one because she had been all over the place and no one had been able to diagnose it. And I didn't do anything special. I just followed our system. I followed how we like to treat and take care of people, which is we don't treat the image. If they come in with MRIs or x-rays, I don't treat the image, I treat the person. So if she had any issue, I'm asking her what she experiences, not what the data is telling me. So imaging and data can be a great tool, but it doesn't give us the whole story. She told me the whole story when she says, well, normally I can go much further. That's all I needed to know. And once we got her back moving, we did some adjustments, some tissue work in those exercises, and she was great. Week or 2 later, she had no pain and hadn't in years. So again, that was a great one that I treated a while ago. And again, if you have something weird like that, pain down the leg, numbness in the foot, and we can't figure it out, there's a good chance it could be coming from the spine or from another joint. So if you have that issue or you know someone who does, let us know. We'd be more than happy to help.